Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joe and welcome to another episode in my Budget Unusuals series, and this time we're going to be focusing on budget unusuals for the Pyro. These are going to be some nice looking unusuals varying in effects, to which I feel are a very appropriate price if you're trying to build a nice loadout but don't really have the funds to sort of afford anything too spectacularly high tier or anything like that. So these are just going to be 5 nice looking unusuals that you can pick up for a very reasonable price. If you do like this series, do let me know down in the comment section below or drop a like on this video, because I haven't actually made a huge amount of these episodes and it's been a while and I just didn't think a lot of people like to see them, but if you do be sure to let me know. But without further ado, let's get into the first hat that I feel is a great budget pyro unusual. So coming up at number 5 we have the Purple Energy Stately Steel Toe. The Stately Steel Toe isn't a great looking hat itself, it's literally a Wellington boot on top of the Pyro's head. However, this Purple Energy hat costs as little as 20.5 keys, meaning it's extremely affordable for a very high tier effect. If we can overlook the fact your Pyro's gonna have a boot literally on top of his head, which is almost comical in a way, it's really not a hat to be taken too seriously, and it certainly doesn't take itself too seriously. But if we can look past that, this is actually a really cool hat. And, well, I mean, it's very unique. You're never going to see another class running around with a Wellington boot stuck on their head, so it's definitely unique in that aspect. So, next up in the list, in the number 4 spot, we have the Circling Hearts Dead Cone. Much like the Stately Steel Toe, the Dead Cone is definitely a very unique hat, featuring a very small traffic cone placed on top of the Pyro's head. Once again, this isn't an overly appealing hat by itself. It struggles to fit into a lot of loadouts, and the bright orange cone really isn't too subtle, and I mean it does stand out when you have a bright orange traffic cone on your head. However, Circling Hearts is probably one of my favourite effects, and for just 24 keys you can pick yourself up this really nice Circling Hearts Dead Cone. Now, this isn't really a hat to be taken too seriously, much like the Stately Steel Toe, and you will struggle to fit it into a serious loadout where you're genuinely trying to look nice. But if you're just playing for fun and you want a nice fun pyro unusual, the Dead Cone or the Stately Steel Toe definitely are some good suggestions, and they are both very cheap in their own regard. Now, this list isn't just going to be filled with low tier hats with high tier effects, as I feel like that's a bit unfair. So next up we've got the Stormy Storm Flamboyant Flamenco. This is a very high tier pyro hat, one of the highest tier pyro hats you can get in unusual form, and Stormy Storm comes in at about 23.5 keys. I think Stormy Storm personally is a very nice effect, and very overlooked by a lot of people. It's very prominent, it's very noticeable, and has 3 key features being the rain, the lightning, and the storm cloud. I just feel like that the fact you're able to get a nice effect on a flamenco for around 23 keys is really quite surprising to me, given how expensive the flamenco is in higher tier effects. Regardless, this is still a really nice hat and definitely deserves its spot on the list. So back onto higher tier unusual effects now, and we have a Misty Skull Birdcage. This is priced at 28.5 keys, and honestly, Misty Skull has got to be one of my favourite Halloween effects. The birdcage really isn't too bad of a hat. It's extremely low tier, meaning you can pick it up in most effects for a pretty reasonable price, and doesn't look too bad, especially with the last breath combo that you can see in this video. Misty Skull, as I mentioned, is a really nice unusual effect in my opinion. It just sort of sits there hovering above the character's head and just looks really nice. Overall, for the price of 28 keys, you really can't go too wrong with this. And finally for this list we have the Cloud9 Attendant. The Attendant is one of the most popular pyro hats in the game, and just generally looks really good with most loadouts. Cloud9 personally has always been a really good effect in my eyes. I just really like the way it looks and how subtle it is, and how the hearts just slowly rise up and then fade away. Overall, the combination of this hat and unusual look great together, and for the price of 27 keys, I think that's a really reasonable price. It's a nice high tier hat and a reasonably mid tier effect, and just looks great in game. But guys, that is just about it for this video. Let me know your thoughts of this down in the comments below, along with your suggestions for the next episode. Let me know if you would like to see more of this series once again by dropping a like, or maybe let me know in the comments below. And that is just about it, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and peace.